What is up, gang? I am Kevin Iole and UFC Seattle on Saturday. And I'll tell you what, this is a really fun card. We're coming off that fight night a couple of weeks ago that was outstanding. This UFC Seattle card, I think, is going to be fun. Automatically now, I think anytime John Silva's on a card, people are going to be jacked after what he's done in the last two fights. But in the co-main event, we have Anthony Fluffy Hernandez coming off a good win over Michel Pereira against my guest right now, Brendan All in Allen. Brendan, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I really like this fight. I think this is going to be an interesting fight, and I think a very important fight at the top of the middleweight division. And first, I want to start with your last fight. You lost a decision to Nassourdine Imavov, which I think has aged very well. Right after seeing what Imavov did against Israel Adesanya, maybe any bad feelings that people had about your performance in that fight can be assuaged by the fact that Imavov himself fought so well. Do you look at it that way at all?
No, not really. I'm a competitor at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, he fought his best the night he fought me, and I felt like shit. And I lost a close fight in his hometown, and it is what it is. A loss is a loss. Doesn't to me, it doesn't matter how it went. I lost, and now I'm fighting back, and I gotta work. I gotta earn my way back up. So it's just part of the business, and I've been here before. So
You entered that fight on an incredible win streak, a lot of really impressive performances, especially those last couple. Paul Craig, Chris Curtis, so big names and good performances by you. How do you get yourself cranked up back to that when you deal with the disappointment and the regret? I'm sure that you have hey, I could have done this, I could have done that. How do you kind of put that behind you and move forward to the next one when you're facing another really elite fighter?
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. The past don't really matter. It's what's ahead of you, and what's in the past is done, and just kind of learn from it, move on. Like I said, I've been here before. I'm a lot hungrier coming off of a loss, especially ones where I just didn't perform to my best or um, mentally screwed myself, whatever the case may be. So I'm a lot different coming off of a loss, and unfortunately, Fluffy's the one that has to um, feel that.
You fought in Paris. Sometimes traveling internationally for guys is difficult. But you mentioned, you screwed yourself mentally. What do you mean? What happened mentally that you put yourself in
No,
a bad spot?
no, mentally, I did that before. This time wasn't mentally. It was just my body wasn't good. My body just was terrible.
Okay, so you just didn't feel like you were up. When you feel that way, I know it's difficult to pull up. But like, what do you ever give thoughts? Hey, am I ready to fight, or did you feel? Did it just happen to be the day of the fight you woke up and hey, I'm not there?
No, I was messed up. My body was messed up probably the whole camp, and I don't know. I signed a contract. I don't know how to pull from fights, even though I should. So um, it is what it is. It was my fault. No one told me not to do anything. No one told me to do anything. That's the good part about this sport. It's all on me. It's nobody else's fault. So I'm the one that has to look in the mirror. I'm the one that has to take ownership of that and learn from it. And maybe I do the opposite next time. I don't know.
You're fighting Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, a guy who's kind of similar to where you were going into the Imavov fight, right? He's on a 6 fight winning streak, really looking good. What did you make of his win over Michel Pereira? Pereira's moving up in that fight to middleweight. What did you make of Fluffy's performance there?
I mean, our resumes are very different, very different. Um, I mean, Pereira was just good out the gate, but he plummets after that, especially if you push it, and that's what Anthony does. He pushes. So, uh, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that
Yeah.
guy. So, um, there's levels in this game, and it's my job to go out there and show him that there are levels. I mean, we all know what Anthony's going to do. He's going to come out there, throw a flurry, rush in, try to get me against the cage, try to take me down, work scrambles, all that same stuff. Like he's just going to try to wear me out with scrambles and hold me against the cage to wear on me. So it's nothing new. He's done it every single fight that he's been in. So um, we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah. So how do you, when you know that's how a guy is going to fight you, like, do you emulate that in training? Do you have your sparring partners do that, or like, how do you adapt to that? Because that's not a lot of guys fight that way, right?
I mean, it's hard when someone feels this right hand when they're rushing in or this hook or something. It's they don't want to do it too many more times, especially when it lands flush. So they try. We put different positions, fresh guys, new positions, and just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. So I'm ready. I feel great. I'm uh I'm just ready to get to Saturday and see if I can put his lights out.
The one great thing about the UFC is that you're always fighting, I guess it's good and bad from a fighter standpoint. You're always fighting elite fighters, guys at the top of the division. So it's tough because you always have a tough fight, but also it's good, I would think, because if you lose a fight, you have a chance for redemption by beating somebody good in your next fight, right? So I cannot imagine that even though you dropped a little bit in the rankings, that you feel like you're that far away from being back and earning a championship shot.
I mean, I think the rankings are bullshit anyway. I can't wait for the this new AI or whatever to go. I think not even in our weight class, but other weight classes, they're just bullshit. They're political and make no sense. So I think I need to defend my spot successfully, and we go back up from there. Hopefully, we get top five next after this, but we'll see. You never know. I think opportunities with matchups and the outcomes of those matchups make the difference in everything. So yeah, it could be two more. It could be three more wins. You never know.
What, what do you? What's your take on the depth of the division right now? I saw, Bilal Muhammad says a lot of stuff trying to be, get himself in the media, but he said, with the exception of Hamzat Chimaev, he looks at the middleweight division as easy and thinks that he can move in and become the championship, become the champion. I'm not necessarily sure that he really believes that he's, I think he's just trying to create talk in the media and get a little bit of hype behind himself. But what is your take of where the division is? I look at it, and you have DDP, Hamza, yourself. There's a lot of good people in there from what I can see. How do you look at that division?
I think we're just at a weird point in time right now where it's the older generation's starting to fade out and the new generation's coming in. I think like you have from the top to the bottom, like Nassourdine, you have Kaio, you have me. We're kind of like the new faces, and you have like Sean, Izzy, Whitaker. All those guys are fading out. I mean, I don't think our champion's that good, but fuck, he wins. He gets the job done. But I think it's also like he's got the best matchups. Even since he's been in the UFC, he gets the best matchups. Like he has a great resume when you look at it on paper, but when you look at it on paper compared to what you see in person, if you see like, oh, he beat Whitaker by finish or he beat Izzy by finish, when you think of these guys, you think of them in their primes. You think of them beating like prime Whitaker or prime Izzy, and it's just like he caught them at the tail ends of their careers or like on the way out. So it's like it's good on paper, but watch the fight and see if those guys looked to be their best or close to their best of what you know them as. So I mean, on paper he looks great. He gets the job done, but I don't think I don't think he's the best middleweight on the planet for sure.
Interesting. I got a lot of shit after UFC 312 because my take was the fight wasn't that compelling and that DDP, yes, he went forward. He was trying to finish the fight, but he couldn't do anything to Strickland to really break through that defense. From what was your take on that bout? Did you enjoy the bout? Did you think it was a good performance by DDP there?
No, I mean I know Sean's tough to fight for sure, but I felt like I think Drickus just did shit to for eyes. Like he threw barrages of punches at like the air, like make it look like he's doing something. It wasn't like he was really trying to like hit him because he would have put more pressure like he's done in other fights.
Right.
So maybe that could be his tactical way of going about it. But to me, it was just for portrayal of the judges.
Well, you're going to see on Saturday, you'll see Brendan Allen make his statement against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. He'll get a shot to move up in the middleweight division and hopefully for him sometime in 2025, challenge for the championship. Brendan, I appreciate you, brother. Best of luck to you, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.